Fabio Wardley will defend his newly upgraded WBO Heavyweight Championship of the World against former IBF Heavyweight Champion Daniel Dubois live from the Co-op Arena in Manchester over in the UK, exclusively available on DAZN Worldwide as part of their Heavyweight Season Series. Let's get into these two guys and their previous records, and then we'll analyze the fight. Let's start with this. Right now, Ring Magazine has Fabio Wardley ranked number 1. Of course, Alexander Usyk is the Ring Magazine champion, and Daniel Dubois is ranked number 4 in the Ring Magazine ratings. Currently, FanDuel has Fabio Wardley a minus 125 favorite, with Daniel Dubois being at minus 105. For those of you out there not really into betting, that is an effectively even fight. Wardley is the very ever so slight favorite. You're going to have to lay just a little bit more money on the money line. But whenever both guys have a minus before their number, that is considered an effectively even fight. Of course, Wardley, just the ever so slight favorite. I'm going to get into my pick after analyzing their last few fights. We will start with the champion, Fabio Wardley. He is coming off a knockout win in the 11th round against Joseph Parker back in October of 2025. Listen, I was on record. I was in Japan for work. I posted a video about why that stoppage was garbage. I will link it in the description, put it at the end of the video too. I do not think that fight should have been stopped. The last 3 punches that Fabio Wardley threw, he didn't even land. Nevertheless, it was stopped. That was for the WBO Interim Championship, and therefore, after Alexander Usyk decided that he did not want to fight Fabio Wardley and would rather go for some sort of gimmicky marquee fight against a kickboxer, Wardley was elevated to full WBO title holder. That's probably the best win of Fabio Wardley's career. Joseph Parker, of course, is about 38 years old in that fight, hasn't fought since, and is pretty shop-worn. He's been in some wars, war with Joe Joyce. He fought Anthony Joshua. The guy's been around, man. He beat Andy Ruiz at one point. Before that, we go back to June 7th, 2025, my daughter's birthday. Justice Huney, 10-round knockout for Fabio Wardley after losing the previous 9 rounds on 2 scorecards and being 8-1 on a third. He uncorked a right hand out of nowhere. You could see the look on Frank Warren's face at ringside. He thought his cash cow, or his new cash cow rather, was sort of on his way out, and all of a sudden, bam, he walks Huney right into a right hand, and he cannot get up before the count of 10. That was not controversial. That was a knockout. He was legitimately counted out. But the point of that is that Huney was beating him very, very consistently and clearly through 9 rounds of that fight. Before that, we get the Frazier-Clark duo of fights, the first that ended in a draw and the second in October of 24 that ended in a massive first-round knockout where Fabio Wardley dented the side of Frazier-Clark's head. Tremendous knockout. After that, you kind of got to go. You're going to the David Adelai's, Michael Polite Coffey. These are good wins, gatekeeper-type wins. Adelay was undefeated at the time, but these guys weren't near the top 25 at that point, at least in my opinion. He did beat drummer boy Eric Molina, who, gave Wilder some problems 10 years ago. But the records, look, the resumes of these two fighters are really not comparable. Now, resumes aren't everything, okay? But Daniel Dubois has fought a much higher level of opposition, and he is coming off. Let's start with Daniel Dubois' losses. Let's analyze those, right? We have 2 knockout losses to Alexander Usyk. His most previous fight, he lost to Usyk back in July of 2025. Dubois tried to win that fight. He believed in himself in that fight. He was never really in the fight, but he went for it, and he got caught on a counter shot with a left hand that he never saw, a punch that Usyk was probably trying to set up, and if he didn't land it then, would have landed it later. No heavyweight in the division gets past an Usyk left hand off a counter shot that they do not see. To me, getting knocked out in that fashion by Usyk is not indicative of a problem with your chin. Okay, a lot of people coming into this fight, a lot of people on X and other platforms are saying that Daniel Dubois has no chin. That's garbage. He does quit when he gets frustrated, but it's not an issue with his chin. He's not a guy you can knock out with one shot. Now, before that, he lost to Usyk again. That was a fight where he got frustrated. All the low blow bullshit controversy, it was low. Usyk, I'm not getting into that again. Nevertheless, then you have to go all the way back to 2020 where he lost to Joe Joyce in a fight that two judges had Dubois actually winning that fight. He did quit. He did take a knee. That fight would have been stopped. He had a broken orbital bone. His eye was awful. He probably would have lost his entire career if he continued to fight. I don't really fault him too bad for that. Okay? And again, that was we're encroaching upon 6 years ago. He's a different guy than he was in 2020. The big focus on, as I make my case in this fight, is the 3 fights that were bookended by the Alexander Usyk losses. He knocks out Jarrell Miller last seconds of the 10th round back in 2023. He knocks out Filip Hrgovic on cuts. Listen, if you don't think Daniel Dubois has a chin, he should have been knocked out in the Hrgovic fight because he was getting hit with clean right hands the entire fight and walking through them and eating them. Okay, and Hrgovic is no... he's not a massive power puncher like, Anthony Joshua or Vladimir Klitschko or anything like that, but they're still clean right hands from a 250-pound heavyweight, and Dubois took them fine. And then after that, he wins the IBF interim title in that fight and then fights Anthony Joshua for the full-fledged title and knocks him out in 5 rounds. Now, to me, that fight is instructive because when Daniel Dubois believes in himself and goes for it, just like he was in the Jarrell Miller and Hrgovic fights, he's pretty much unstoppable. It's going to be hard to stop a guy like that. Now, I know Anthony Joshua, we can make the case that, he wasn't where he needed to be. He's faded, etc. But if you watch that fight and you go to the 5th round, okay, you go to the 5th round after Joshua's gotten off the canvas, he has decided, Joshua, I'm going for broke, and he lands a clean, perfectly placed right hand right on the chin of Daniel Dubois, and Daniel Dubois is standing there looking at him. Now, listen, whatever you may think of where Joshua is now or where he was then, he still has one of the best right hands in the heavyweight division. If he lands that shot, you're going home early. He landed it on Dubois, and Dubois was looking at him, then landed a counter right hand of his own and put Joshua out for the night. So, I said all that to say this. I think the myth that Daniel Dubois doesn't have a chin, the punches that he's been knocked out would knock out any heavyweight, regardless of what you think their ability to take a punch is. So, what's my pick? Let's get into it. I think unless you are able to frustrate Daniel Dubois by outboxing him, and I'm talking outbox him on the level of someone as great as Usyk can do, I don't think Wardley is going to be able to do that. He cannot outbox Daniel Dubois. Neither one of them are particularly great boxers in the pure sense, but Dubois is a little bit better. He's more seasoned. He's fought better opposition. So what does that mean? That means that Fabio Wardley once again is going to have to go for broke and land that money right hand that Dubois doesn't see and knock him out. Can he do it? Of course he can. It's the heavyweight division, and Fabio Wardley's power is without a doubt legitimate. I don't think he does it in this fight. And I actually think Daniel Dubois gets to Wardley, frustrates him, and when Wardley turns on that last gear to try to go for broke, it's going to be Daniel Dubois who counters Wardley and knocks him out. I've got Daniel Dubois by knockout, round 7. Book it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what your pick is. I promise you if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Either way, this is going to be one hell of a fun fight between 2 guys who really throw punches. And it's great that it's being contested for a heavyweight world championship. I absolutely love it. It's going to be a massive, raucous, drunk crowd in Manchester. I can't wait to see the fight. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.